What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Matt with Nabs Boxing here, and I thought we'd just break down the final moments, final thoughts and predictions for Ryan Garcia versus Romero. I've been here the entire fight week. Let me tell you, it's been chaotic. It's been crazy, a little bit unorthodox. We're not used to having these Riyadh season events here, and it's just been crazy. But let's break down Ryan and Rolly, because it really has been an interesting experience covering it. You know, me going to every event, the grand arrivals, the open workouts, the press conferences, and now today we have the weigh-ins that maybe by the time you guys have watched this, it's already been done. But I already know that all fighters made weight because the official weigh-ins already took place. But we have all three fights going down. Every fighter made weight, all six of them on the top three main fights. They're all ready to go, so that's a good thing to hear. But to break down Rolly and Ryan, obviously, we're all going to favor Ryan Garcia because Ryan's coming off that big Devin Haney win, right? But for me personally, I feel like this could be a big upset. It could be a big upset for a multitude of reasons, and I'm going to tell you guys why. I saw Ryan Garcia, him and Bill Haney had a little bit of an altercation when Ryan Garcia did his media workout. I couldn't help but notice, Bill talked about Ryan's physique, and I also kind of noticed it even before Bill Haney said it. I was like, Ryan Garcia, he looks like he's in solid shape, don't get me wrong, but also he wasn't like as cut up as I'm used to seeing him during a fight week. And obviously he's going to look good at the weigh-in. He should look way better at the weigh-in because he's lost all that extra fat. But even so, I was expecting, him to look a little bit more in shape, a little bit more ripped for this fight, as a boxer. All the fights I've watched, usually you're conditioned for that. Rolly Romero made weight comfortably, made 147 easily. So I feel like it's going to be interesting to see Rolly because he physically looks better than Ryan Garcia when it comes to, muscle, and he looks stronger. And if that plays a role in the fight, we don't know what's going to happen. Bill Haney talked about Ryan Garcia looking softer, looking a little bit weaker because the PEDs, the Ostarine, is out of his system now. So that remains to be seen. It's a heavy claim from Bill Haney, but ultimately the test was positive, so it's not that crazy. We're going to find out tomorrow night whether or not Ryan Garcia is the same fighter that he was against Devin Haney not too long ago. That's what we all want to see at the end of the day. We want to see, can Ryan Garcia replicate those kinds of performances, the one like he had against Devin Haney against Rolly, where he's been tested by VADA and he's going to continue to get tested, and ultimately, if he's clean and he's able to replicate the similar performance that he had against Devin Haney, then he's going to look really good, and it sets up a huge fight, and Ryan Garcia's name is going to essentially be, cleared for this fight. And when that rematch goes down, I'm sure Ryan Garcia would be clean for that fight as well. So to see Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney go at it again would be a treat for sure. But for Rolly, I feel like he has a really good chance. I'm not going to lie. I still favor Ryan Garcia, but I'm still relatively on the fence because Rolly's seems to be in better shape. He looks stronger. Ryan Garcia, however, on the other hand, has the experience, so it's going to be difficult to beat Ryan in these exchanges where he has much better timing than Rolly does, and Rolly has an issue of getting out of position. They're both relatively irresponsible defensively, so that could lead for any guy to get knocked out. Either guy could really get knocked out, especially with Ryan and Rolly, because they're defensively irresponsible. They're entertaining people, their characters, not only outside of the ring, but inside of the ring as well. So we can't just write off Rolly because he's lost his last few fights. He hasn't looked the best in the world. So you can't say all that because ultimately this is a big stage where he's comfortable at 147, looks strong and physically fit. He doesn't look drained for the first time that I've seen in a while. So I feel like Rolly might surprise a lot of people, but I still have to pick Ryan Garcia because of the experience. I just think in those exchanges where Ryan's going to really instinctively know what to do, as opposed to Rolly where he's just going to get caught by something big and try to win an exchange, and who knows, maybe he lands a crazy shot and does time Ryan Garcia. But I feel like Ryan's more talented in the aspect of finding a chin to land that left hook, finding that big shot that he can just really put a fighter out with. And I think Rolly's chin hasn't been tested, by a guy like Ryan Garcia in a while. So I think against Ryan specifically, I think he hits harder than anybody, and at a higher weight class, I think he's gonna, have and carry that power even more. So I got to go with Ryan, but you know, it should be a really good fight. I'm really excited to see it. I just don't think either guy is defensively responsible, and I think that leads for a tremendous fight. It'll be an exciting one, but I definitely don't think this fight is going the distance. But I really do see it as like a relatively close fight. I know I picked Ryan, but I still give Rolly a decent chance. I wouldn't be too surprised if he lands something crazy on Ryan Garcia and Ryan, you know, gets flatlined like Rolly's saying. But, you know, definitely in favor of Ryan. Ryan's definitely the safe pick. But we all know, you know, this is the sport of boxing where anything can happen. So, you know, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Rolly pulls this off somehow. And honestly, it would be insane to see him kind of mess up those plans for Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia to have the rematch, even though they're still scheduled to have it regardless of the outcomes of the fights tomorrow. But still, you know, it's not the same as opposed to if Ryan and Devin both won. You know, Rolly could definitely mess up that rematch and ruin people's plans and shock the world with a huge upset against Ryan Garcia. But I still pick Ryan to stop Rolly. I just think that Ryan's a little bit too more, you know, too experienced and too talented to the point where Ryan should beat Rolly and stop him. And I think Rolly would probably consider retirement after that. But respect to both guys. They both look ready. I'm excited to watch the fights. Hope you guys enjoy you know, all the fights on Friday night, and stay safe. And I'll catch you guys on the next NABS Boxing video. Peace.